What's going on, guys? We're back with another short little video. This one is going to be pretty raw, not a whole lot of editing. I wanted to quickly go over something that gets commonly looked over on VQ35 DEs and the rev ups, and that's if you're having smoke coming out of the engine bay after driving it. Normally the first thing you would check would be your valve covers, and that's a common thing to go wrong with these. I've changed the valve cover gasket several times, and I've actually swapped them out for the aluminum valve covers. But in this particular case, and that I see oftentimes, more times than not, is the variable valve timing gaskets go bad, especially after changing the valve covers, because you have to remove these, and a lot of people don't replace the gasket, and they leak, and they produce the same symptom as if your valve covers were out. Oil leaks onto the top of the valve cover, it rolls to the back under acceleration, onto your header, and smokes. So that's one thing that I would just by default go ahead and change the gaskets whenever you replace your valve covers. And if you have changed your valve covers and you're still having the same symptom, more than likely it's not the valve covers you just replaced, but it is the gasket going to the variable valve timing solenoid. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. The install on this is going to be the same whether you're stock or modified or boosted. This in particular is my boosted 350Z. It's a rear mount turbo. This is a forged VQ35 DE, non-rev up, fully forged internals. Makes a lot of cool turbo noises, and it's a fun car. But man, it smokes a lot of oil. So the part you're going to need is this guy right here. It's from Dorman. Here's the part number. I ordered it from O'Reilly's, and these are a lot better quality than the factory ones. These actually have a rubber coating. They're metal gaskets with a rubber coating. The factory ones are metal, but they have like a paper type material that degrades over time and comes apart. And there's a bunch of oil pressure that flows through these, so a lot of times they'll leak and go onto your valve covers and out to the back. So let's go ahead and get these swapped out. So here are the variable valve timing solenoids, or the VVT solenoids, one for each bank, right here and right here. And if I looked in there with a light and a scope, and I could tell that it's leaking from this gasket down onto the valve cover running to the back. So that confirms that theory. So the first thing you're going to do is take these plugs out. I already loosened them. This one and this green one. It's a little bit tight around that coolant hose, but you can get it off. And then we're going to take a 10mm and undo these 3 bolts on each one, and be careful, the old gasket will fall out. So there's very high pressure, high oil pressure running through these runners here, and if you have a leak, depending on what direction it is, mine was towards the back, at higher RPM it will spew, like squirt, over onto the valve cover. You can see there's a bunch of oil in there, and then if you look on the bottom of the valve, on the VVT solenoid, there's a bunch of oil where it shouldn't be. So that was the problem. We're gonna go ahead and pull this other one. Alright, so the torque spec on these is 90 inch-pounds. As far as I know, there's not a sequence, but 90 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. Make sure you don't get that confused. You can go to AutoZone and get you one of these PT torque deflection type 1/4 inch torque wrenches. And that's it. It's really not that hard. It's much easier than doing valve covers. So if you were to check that first before your valve covers and verify if that's your issue or not, before spending lots of time and money, depending on if you're doing it yourself, doing valve covers in these cars is not fun. So we're gonna wrap up the other side, tie everything back together, take it for a test drive, verify that our issue is fixed and that there's no more oil pouring out of that thing, and we'll be all fixed up and good to go. Just got back from the test drive, and for the first time in a while I haven't seen any smoke coming from the hood, so I guess we fixed it. So yeah, if you guys are having a similar issue and it's not your valve covers, you know what to check. So I appreciate it. If you guys could comment and subscribe and keep up with the channel, I would appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one.